What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. We are keeping pace this week, talking about great Olympians during the Olympic Games. So I'm going to share with you 3 returns that I just recently got back not too long ago. Then I'm going to tell you about these great Olympians. So let's just jump right into this. All right, the first one is returned from California, and it is great Olympian swimmer Cathy Ferguson on 2 of 2. And as you can see, she signed across the top on that one. It looks like she almost ran out of room on that one for her full name. So she got it completely on there, but not quite on that one. But these Olympic cards, they're not super rare, but they're not super easy to find. They came out in the early 80s, and I just happened to buy a box of cards 5-6 years ago. And it basically had 2 complete sets in there, minus a couple bigger names like Muhammad Ali was gone, and names like that. So anyways, let me tell you about Cathy Ferguson and her amazing career in the Olympics. So the cool thing about Cathy is we were talking about the Tokyo Games in 2021, and she actually was a gold medalist twice in the 1964 Tokyo Games. So that's the cool thing about Miss Ferguson. Well, here's the uniqueness about Cathy Ferguson. When she won her gold medals, she was only 16 years old and still in high school. So Cathy grew up in California, and she competed competitively in her early teens, I guess you would say, in swimming. She appeared in the 1963 Pan American Games, where she won a silver medal for the 100-meter backstroke, and then she competed the next year in 1964, where she set a 100-meter backstroke record, winning the gold medal while doing so by setting it with a time of 1 minute and 7 seconds, 0.7 tenths of a second, I guess. Having set the world record over the 200 meters the previous month, she thus became the record holder at both backstroke distances. So she set the record previously at a different event, but then she basically reset the record at the Olympics. She also won the gold medal in the 4x100 meter medley, which medley means that they use 4 different types of swimming method to compete in the event in 1964. Well, at 16, she became a gold medal winner. As you can see, that's her accepting her gold medal there. And she competed again in the Pan American Games in 1967, but she only won the bronze medal that year in Winnipeg. Well, right before the 1968 Olympics, at just age 19 years old, she decided to retire from professional swimming. So she won the awards at 16, and by 19 she retired from the sport and focused on a coaching career. I'm not really sure, what she did after her retirement. Obviously, she was involved with the sport after that, but it's just amazing that somebody was a record holder, in an event, and she didn't try to defend her title. That's just so rare to see somebody not do that, but you also have to remember, Olympic athletes, especially during that era, and it's still the case nowadays, they just didn't make a lot of money being professional athletes. So maybe she found the opportunity to do something else that was more, lucrative financially, and that's what she decided to focus on. But I am very happy to add Miss Ferguson to the collection. Just remember her name when you're watching Katie Ledecky this year. I mean, just think how amazing a 16-year-old competed in the 1964 Olympics and won those gold medals. That's just absurd to think a high schooler won Olympic gold medals in 1964. But it did happen, and Miss Ferguson still lives to this day out in California. All right, this next one is a return from Patricia McCormick, or Pat McCormick, she goes by. There's a couple Patricia McCormicks out there. So I've more commonly seen the diver go by the name Pat McCormick, which is what she goes by on this card. She returned 3 of 3. She kind of signed it kind of in a dark spot there. Probably would have been a little bit better if she would have signed over her body there. But these two turned out wonderfully. But Miss McCormick is just 91 years old, so she wants to sign the card wherever she wants to sign it, and I'm more than happy to take it. So we'll give her a pass. So let me tell you about Patricia McCormick and her amazing career in the Olympics as well. Miss McCormick is one of the top female athletes of her generation, meaning she was kind of a trailblazer, setting the mark for female athletes during her era. As a child, in the 1930s and 40s, she was notable for executing dives that were not allowed in competition for female divers. These were dives that were simply reserved for most men. She also was known for practicing her dives in Long Beach, California, off the Los Alamos Bridge. She attended high school in California, then Long Beach City College, then California State University, Long Beach. Competitively, she appeared in the Pan American Games in 1951 in Buenos Aires, winning the gold medal off the platform. And then, in the 1952 Helsinki Olympics, she won gold on both the springboard and the platform dives. Well, she would return to Mexico City in 1955 in the Pan American Games and win gold medals at both of those competitions as well. The amazing thing is, just months before the 1956 Olympics, Miss McCormick gave birth to one of her sons. So just 4 months before she went to the Melbourne Olympics in Australia, she gave birth to one of her children. And did that set her back? Absolutely not. She won the gold medal, defended her title in 1956 on the springboard and the platform events, bringing home the gold for Team USA, being a new mother, which I just think is awesome. After the 56 Olympics, she did not appear in the Olympics again. She did go on diving tours, which, if you remember, that was a big thing, like on boardwalks and such back in the day. And she also modeled for Catalina swimsuits. She served on the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles Organizing Committee. And one of the most impressive things about her is that she won the James E. Sullivan Award for Best Amateur Athlete in the United States in 1956, becoming only the second woman in history to do so at that point. So very, very happy to add Miss McCormick's autograph to the collection. I had gotten her in the past before. If you recall, I showed them off in that video last year, but very happy to get a couple more, especially on this Topps card, as I'd never gotten that one signed before. So we'll move on to the next one. All right, so this next one is postmarked from Iowa, and it is from wrestling Olympian Dan Gable on 1, 2, a third sideways card, and a fourth. So I have written Mr. Gable in the past before. These are a couple more that I got, especially the Topps card again and this Upper Deck card. So let me tell you about Dan Gable and his career in wrestling in the Olympics. From 1967 to 1970, Gable attended Iowa State University, where he competed in wrestling. At Iowa State, he became an NCAA Division I national runner-up and two-time national champion. Gable's college career record was 117 wins and 1 loss, with his only loss being the final match of his season against Larry Owens. So that was the year that he was the runner-up to national champion in wrestling. So ironically, in 1968, he was the national champion. 1969, he was the national champion. Then in 1970, he was the runner-up. After college, from 1970 to 73, Gable competed internationally in freestyle wrestling. Highlights of his career include gold medals at the 1971 Tbilisi tournament, the 1971 World Championships, and in 1972, winning gold for Team USA in the Olympics at Munich, Germany. At the 1972 Games, Gable won all 6 of his matches without giving up one single point. After his professional wrestling career concluded, from 1976 to 1997, Dan Gable was the head wrestling coach for the University of Iowa. Over his career at Iowa, his record was 355 wins, 21 losses, and 5 ties. He coached 152 All-Americans, 45 national champions, 106 Big Ten champions, and 12 Olympians. In addition to his time at the University of Iowa, Gable was the head coach of 3 Olympic teams and 6 world teams in wrestling. Some pretty cool accolades about Mr. Gable is that he was, in 1991, awarded the Art Abrams Lifetime Achievement Award by the California Alley Club. He also, in 2020, which this is more recent, Donald Trump awarded Gable with the Presidential Medal of Freedom on December 8th, 2020. So, very happy to add Mr. Gable to my collection. I hope you learned a little bit about some of these great Olympic athletes like Cathy Ferguson and Dan Gable and Patricia McCormick, or Pat McCormick for short. So I'm very happy to add them all to my collection. This was, a great addition to get them on these Topps cards. I hope you enjoyed this episode that's focused on the Olympics. I hope you're enjoying the Olympics, and I look forward to your comments below. Happy collecting.